Hello everyone, Hans from Kunidev. In today's lesson, we are gonna dive into two fundamental components in Unity, which is the box collider and rigidbody. These are keys for making your game object interact with the physics system and the world around them. So let's get started. So, what is box collider and rigidbody 2D in Unity 6? A collider is a component that defines the shape of an object for physical collisions. It acts like an invisible cell around your object, so Unity knows when it touches or bumps into other objects. And there are several types of collider. In Unity, some common ones included the box collider, which is a rectangular box-shaped collider, a sphere collider, which is a round collider which is useful for balls or spherical objects, a capsule collider, a capsule shape often used for character, and a mesh collider which is useful for the 3D mesh, perfect for complex shape but more performance heavy. In Unity, you have to remember, use the right colliders for 2D or 3D games. If you're making a 2D game, make sure to use box collider 2D, not the regular box collider. Likewise, use rigidbody 2D instead of rigidbody, because in your script there are functions from Unity which is on collision enter 2D and on collision enter. On collision enter 2D only works for the box collider 2D, and on collision enter only works for box collider. If you mix 2D and 3D physics component, it can cause unexpected behavior. So remember, always match your collider and rigidbody to the type games you're building, okay? So what is rigidbody and why you need it? A rigidbody is the component that makes your object dynamic in the physics engine. Without it, object will collide static and won't move at all, even if they collide or are affected by force. I'm gonna explain it and I'm gonna show it to you more detail about this short theory, okay? Now let's go back to the Unity. Now I'm gonna demonstrate to you how to add box collider and rigidbody and how it differs in the usage in your game. So left click here, create 2D object, sprite and square. Let's add some graphic into it. Okay, you can see now there is a game object of my Slimer because I love this Slimer name. Let's rename it Slimer. Let's add component box collider 2D. Okay, you see this, there is a box collider and box collider 2D. Box collider is for 3D, box collider 2D is for 2D. Remember that, because this is a 2D sprite, we are gonna use box collider 2D. Click. Okay, now edit the collider. Click on this edit collider geometry, click it, and you will see a green box here. You can click here and change how big the size of your collider. Okay, so this is up to you, which one do you want. And you see just now, if you type in collider in the add component, there are so many types of collider. You can add capsule, collider 2D. You can edit it. Okay, and this is an edit capsule. And you can add many more types of box collider, and remember to use the 2D one. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, now I'm gonna add components rigidbody 2D too, and I'm gonna put it like that. I'm gonna create a new 2D object sprite square. Okay, let's give it a green color here and add box collider to this also. Okay, if we remove the rigidbody just now, we add it and we press play, our game object, although already inserted a box collider 2D, it won't change anything. It won't move, it won't do anything because there is no physics in this game object. Let's stop it. Let's try again and add again the rigid body 2D. And if we press play, now the Slimer will fall down because it already simulates a physics in Unity. So this is the function of rigid body. Because it simulates a gravity, the game object will fall down because it affected with the gravity scale here. You can change the speed to slow the gravity, slow it before it falls down, or you can make it faster and it will fall down faster, just like a physics engine in Unity. If we add also to the square the rigid body, and you see something weird. Both of them will fall down and they won't interact each other because both of them have rigid body that simulates physics. So you have to make sure each game object has its own desire that you want to simulate, whether it's just a collision or you want to have some kind of movement to your game object. So let's recap. A collider defines the shape of collision, and rigid body makes your object physically active in the world. You add a box collider for simple box-shaped collision detection, and a rigid body to enable a physics interactions. So in the next tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to interact between two game objects with box collider and rigid body through a script. And that's where we are gonna use some Unity function like on collision enter and on trigger enter 2D. And we will explain more about this body type, kinematic, static. But for now, you don't need to know anything about this for now. Just try to add a simple box collider and rigid body if you are just still starting to learn Unity 6. Don't overwhelm yourself with too much information right now, because it will makes you feel intimidated and you will stop learning at all. I've been through this kind of position and it's really hard to get back again when you already feel overwhelmed. So it's already so great that you have finished until this video. If you have any more questions or any comments below, you can add the comments below. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe. I think that's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.